Life doesn't wait for us to be ready. People will test you, situations will frustrate you, and words will cut deeper than you think. But the truth is, no one has the power to make you angry unless you give it to them. This isn't just about patience, this is about control. This is about owning your mind, your emotions, and your reactions so completely that no one can ever unsettle you. Today, I want to give you the tools to do just that. To be untouchable, not in arrogance, but in mastery. The first thing to understand is that anger is almost always a choice. When someone says something rude, manipulative, or careless, you have a split second to react. Most people react immediately, letting their emotions hijack their actions. But you pause. You breathe. You decide. This pause is where your power lives. In that moment, you are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the commander of your own mind. And mastering that pause is the cornerstone of never being bothered by anyone again. Next, you must understand the principle of separation. People are complex, unpredictable, and often irrational, but their behavior is not about you, it's about them. When someone insults you, criticizes you unfairly, or even tries to provoke you, it's a reflection of their insecurities, fears, or ignorance. When you internalize that truth, anger loses its grip. You stop personalizing every jab, every criticism, and every slight. You create mental space between you and them, a space where you are untouchable, where you are free. Another critical skill is emotional intelligence. This is the ability to recognize your triggers before they control you. What words push your buttons? What situations make you react instantly? Identify them, study them, and then prepare a mental response for every trigger. This is not suppression, this is strategy. When you anticipate the trigger, you neutralize it before it has a chance to affect you. Think of it like an emotional shield, crafted in advance, ready for anything. Now, let's talk about energy. Your mental and emotional energy is the most valuable asset you have. Wasting it on anger is like burning currency you can't earn back. Every moment you spend irritated or upset is a moment lost. Instead, redirect that energy toward solutions, toward growth, toward action. When someone tries to get under your skin, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? 9 times out of 10, it isn't. And the more consistently you practice this, the more effortless it becomes. Mindset, however, is the engine behind all of this. Cultivate the mindset of a calm, composed, and disciplined individual. Imagine yourself walking through a crowded street. People push, shout, and jostle, but you remain steady, unmoved, almost untouchable. That's the mental image you must practice daily. Every morning, set an intention. I will remain calm. I will remain unbothered. I will not allow others to steal my peace. Say it, believe it, and act it. Over time, this becomes not just a strategy, but a habit and eventually a part of your identity. There's also power in choosing silence over reaction. Often, the world expects a response, especially an emotional one, but refusing to react is one of the most powerful moves you can make. Silence is armor. Silence allows you to observe, analyze, and respond only when it serves your purpose, rather than when it serves someone else's ego. You gain control over the narrative, and people quickly learn that you are not an easy target. And finally, remember this. Being unbothered doesn't mean being cold or detached. It means being fully present, fully aware, and fully in control. It means that you have mastered the art of picking your battles, conserving your energy, and protecting your peace. It means that no matter how chaotic the world becomes, no matter how provocative or manipulative people act, you remain steady, focused, and powerful. Mastering this isn't instant. It takes practice, repetition, and unwavering commitment. You will stumble. You will feel the old reflexes of anger. But each time you choose calm over chaos, each time you choose control over reaction, you reinforce the most important lesson of all. No one and nothing has the power to disturb you unless you allow it. And once you truly embody that, you step into a level of freedom and resilience that very few people ever achieve. Absolutely. Here's an expanded asterisk 900-word version asterisk of Keynote No. 1 inch, a motivational Evy style tone as requested. Mastering the pause is one of the most powerful tools you can develop if you want to never get angry or bothered by anyone. Most people live their lives on autopilot. reacting instantly to every word, every action, every slight that comes their way. They let their emotions dictate their behavior, and in doing so, they surrender control over their own minds. But the moment you learn to pause, to insert even a fraction of a second between stimulus and response, you reclaim that control. That pause is where your power lies. It's in that space that you decide who you are, how you behave, and what you allow into your mental and emotional space. It's the difference between being reactive and being deliberate, between being a victim of circumstance and being the commander of your own life. The pause is not just about taking a deep breath. It's about cultivating a mental habit so strong that it becomes automatic. When someone says something offensive or manipulative, when someone tries to provoke you, when someone acts in a way that would normally trigger your anger, you pause. You do not respond immediately. You do not shout, argue, or react in a way that will later leave you regretting your behavior. Instead, you insert a mental space. That space is your shield. It protects your peace, it protects your energy, and it allows you to respond strategically rather than emotionally. In that pause, you evaluate the situation, you consider the consequences, and you choose your response based on reason and not impulse. Most people fail to master this because they confuse emotion with action. They believe that feeling anger or frustration means they have to act on it. But feeling an emotion does not require expression. Emotions are signals, not commands. They inform you that something is happening, that a boundary may have been crossed, or that a principle is being challenged. The pause gives you the opportunity to process that signal without surrendering to it. It's where self-discipline begins, where emotional intelligence is exercised, and where your ability to remain unbothered is forged. Every time you pause, you strengthen your mental muscles, and with each repetition, the pause becomes longer, easier, and more natural. The key to making the pause effective is awareness. You must become acutely aware of your triggers, those words, behaviors, and situations that typically set you off. Once you identify them, you can anticipate your reactions and prepare for them. Awareness transforms the pause from a passive moment into an active strategy. You see the trigger coming, recognize it, and consciously choose how to respond. This requires honesty with yourself. You must admit when you have a tendency to react impulsively. You must study your emotional patterns and confront the reality of your weaknesses. Only then can you design a pause that will serve as a bridge between your instinct and your chosen response. Another aspect of the pause is controlling your physical response. Anger often manifests in the body long before it manifests in words. Your heart rate spikes, your muscles tense, your breathing becomes shallow. Recognizing these physiological signals is critical because they are early warning signs that you are being hijacked by emotion. When you feel tension in your body, that is the perfect moment to implement your pause. Take a deliberate breath, relax your shoulders, slow your heartbeat if possible, and give yourself the time to respond with calm authority. Controlling the body helps control the mind, and controlling the mind ensures that you remain unbothered regardless of external provocation. Mastering the pause also requires practice in everyday life. It is not something you only use during extreme situations, it is something you integrate into your daily interactions. In meetings, in traffic, in conversations with friends, family, or colleagues, practice pausing before responding. Start small. Wait an extra 2 or 3 seconds before replying to a comment you disagree with. Notice the difference it makes in your clarity, in your control, and in the way others perceive you. That small practice builds a foundation for handling larger conflicts with grace and power. In addition, mastering the pause is intimately tied to self-respect. When you pause, you communicate to yourself and to others that you are in control of your actions. You are not a puppet to other people's words or behavior. You set the tone for how you are treated, not by aggression, but by calm authority. People notice the difference between someone who reacts impulsively and someone who responds thoughtfully. They sense the inner strength of a person who can remain composed in the face of provocation. The pause is a silent declaration that you value your peace and that you will not allow anyone to disrupt it without your consent. Finally, the pause is the first step toward emotional freedom. Each time you successfully implement it, you build resilience. You demonstrate to yourself that you can handle difficult people, tense situations, and frustrating circumstances without losing control. Over time, the pause becomes a habit, a reflex, and eventually, an automatic response. it becomes part of your identity. You become known not for your anger, not for your reactions, but for your unwavering composure and strategic approach to life. This is how true power is built, not through intimidation or force, but through mastery over oneself. The pause is not a weakness, it is a deliberate act of strength. It requires courage to resist the instinct to react, and it demands patience to allow yourself the space to respond intentionally. It is a practice that, when mastered, transforms your interactions, your energy, and your entire life. It enables you to live unbothered, unshaken, and in full control of your mind and your emotions. Here's the expanded asterisk, 900-word version of Keynote No. 2 inches, the Evy style motivational tone. As requested, protecting your energy is one of the most essential skills you can develop if you want to remain calm, composed, and unbothered by anyone. Every interaction, every conversation, every situation has the potential to either drain you or empower you, and the difference lies entirely in how you choose to manage your energy. Most people give it away carelessly. They let the opinions, actions, and emotions of others dictate their mood, their focus, and their behavior. They spend countless hours ruminating over slights, replaying arguments in their minds, and allowing negativity to seep into their consciousness. But when you understand the value of your mental and emotional energy, you begin to treat it like the most precious currency you own, and you become highly selective about what and who gets access to it. The first step in protecting your energy is awareness. You must be conscious of how interactions affect you. Who leaves you feeling drained, irritated, or frustrated after a conversation? Who consistently tests your patience or challenges your composure? Which situations trigger your anger, anxiety, or resentment? Awareness is the foundation, because you cannot protect what you do not recognize. By identifying the sources of emotional depletion, you gain the power to set boundaries, make informed choices, and allocate your energy toward things that truly matter. Energy protection begins with noticing the difference between interactions that uplift you and those that drain you, and understanding that your emotional responses are within your control. Next, learn to assess the value of your energy before giving it away. Every moment you spend reacting in anger, defending yourself unnecessarily, or attempting to change someone else's behavior costs you something invaluable. It costs clarity, focus, and peace of mind. It costs productivity, relationships, and sometimes even your physical health. Ask yourself before engaging, is this worth my energy? Is this worth the emotional cost? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. Learning to ask this question consistently creates a mental filter, a natural defense system that allows you to conserve your energy for situations that truly deserve it. The more you practice this, the more automatic it becomes, and the easier it is to remain unbothered in moments that used to trigger intense reactions. Another vital aspect of protecting your energy is the deliberate choice of how you respond. Energy is transferred through your reactions. If someone attempts to provoke you and you respond with anger or frustration, you are effectively giving them power over your mental state. But when you respond with calm, measured composure, you retain control and protect your energy. This is not about suppressing emotion, it is about redirecting it. Think of your energy as water in a glass. Every drop spent on negativity is a drop lost forever. Choose to channel it into clarity, solutions, strategic action, and maintaining inner peace. By taking conscious control of your reactions, you ensure that your energy is preserved, focused, and aligned with your goals and values. Boundaries are an essential tool in protecting your energy. Setting clear personal boundaries does not require confrontation, aggression, or hostility. It requires self-respect, clarity, and decisiveness. Know what you will tolerate and what you will not. Communicate these boundaries when necessary, but more importantly, enforce them consistently. People will test you, they always do, but your energy is your responsibility. By creating firm boundaries, you reduce unnecessary conflict, prevent emotional exploitation, and reinforce your ability to remain unbothered. This is not selfishness, it is self-preservation. Without boundaries, your energy is constantly at the mercy of others' behavior, and you lose the ability to protect your calm and composure. Another critical aspect is the practice of mental and emotional filtering. Not every thought, criticism, or opinion deserves your attention. People will speak, judge, and sometimes attack without understanding your reality. If you internalize every comment or let every action affect you, your energy becomes fragmented and wasted. Learn to filter input. Decide what deserves your focus and what does not. Allow constructive feedback that aligns with your goals and values to penetrate your mind, but reject criticism, negativity, and provocation that serve only to drain your energy. This filter acts like a protective wall, shielding your mental and emotional resources from unnecessary depletion. Self-awareness, self-discipline, and mindfulness work hand in hand to protect your energy. Cultivate routines and practices that strengthen your resilience. Daily reflection, meditation, or even brief moments of quiet focus help you recharge and maintain control over your inner state. When you nurture your own well-being, you are less susceptible to the distractions, provocations, and manipulations of others. Your energy becomes a fortress, and those who attempt to unsettle you will find themselves unable to breach it. Protecting your energy is not passive. It is an active practice, a disciplined strategy, and a commitment to your own peace and success. It is also important to understand the cumulative effect of energy protection. Every small decision to remain calm, to redirect frustration, to avoid unnecessary confrontation adds up over time. Each instance reinforces your ability to remain unbothered. Like training a muscle, consistency strengthens your capacity to stay composed in increasingly challenging situations. Over time, your energy becomes concentrated, focused, and almost untouchable. You begin to radiate calm, authority, and others sense it instinctively. They recognize that you are not easily swayed, provoked, or drained, and they adjust their behavior accordingly. Protecting your energy also extends to your environment. Surround yourself with people, activities, and habits that replenish your mind and soul rather than deplete them. Recognize toxic influences and limit your exposure. Seek connections that inspire growth, clarity, and positivity. The energy you surround yourself with directly impacts your mental state. By curating your environment, you create a supportive ecosystem that reinforces your ability to stay calm and unbothered even when external challenges arise. Finally, protecting your energy requires a shift in perspective. Understand that your peace is a choice, and anger or frustration is not a requirement. You have the power to choose calm over chaos, clarity over confusion, and control over reaction. By consistently valuing and safeguarding your energy, you build resilience, confidence, and emotional freedom. You become the person who moves through the world unshaken, whose focus remains intact, and whose inner state is impervious to the provocations of others. Here's the expanded asterisk 900-word version asterisk of Keynote No, 3 inches, the Evy style motivational tone, as requested. Building an untouchable mindset is the cornerstone of never being angered or bothered by anyone. It is the mental framework that allows you to navigate a world filled with provocation, negativity, and chaos without ever surrendering your calm or peace. Most people live reactive lives, letting the words, opinions, and actions of others dictate how they feel and how they behave. They allow external circumstances to define their internal state, and as a result, they are perpetually vulnerable to irritation, resentment, and anger. But when you cultivate an untouchable mindset, you shift from being reactive to being deliberate. You move from being influenced by others to being fully in command of your own mind and emotions, and this transformation begins with a deep understanding of control, self-awareness, and perspective. An untouchable mindset starts with the recognition that nothing outside of you has the power to dictate your emotions unless you give it that power. Words, actions, and events are neutral. Their impact is determined by the meaning you assign to them. Most people assign personal meaning to slights, insults, or criticisms, and that is what triggers anger or frustration. By choosing not to internalize these external forces, you strip them of their power. You create a mental barrier that protects your inner peace. This is not about detachment or indifference. It is about clarity, discernment, and choosing what deserves your attention. Once you internalize that principle, you begin to respond to life from a place of strength rather than reaction. Another essential element is self-awareness. To develop an untouchable mindset, you must first understand yourself, your triggers, vulnerabilities, and patterns. What types of comments or behaviors provoke you? When do you lose composure, and why? By studying yourself with honesty and objectivity, you gain insight into the mechanisms of your own reactions. Self-awareness allows you to anticipate your emotional responses and create strategies to neutralize them. It is the first step in turning instinctive reactions into deliberate choices, and it forms the foundation for a resilient mental state that cannot easily be shaken. Discipline is another critical component. An untouchable mindset does not emerge spontaneously. It is forged through consistent practice and intentional effort. You must train yourself to pause before reacting, to filter what deserves your energy, and to redirect emotional impulses toward constructive outcomes. This discipline applies not only in high stress or confrontational situations, but in daily interactions as well. Every choice you make to remain calm, to avoid unnecessary conflict, and to preserve your focus reinforces your mental strength. Over time, discipline becomes habitual, and your ability to remain unbothered evolves from a conscious effort into an instinctive way of being. Perspective plays a vital role in developing an untouchable mindset. Often, we let minor slights or provocations consume us because we view them as significant or personal. But when you zoom out and see the bigger picture, most of these moments lose their weight. People's behavior is shaped by their own insecurities, fears, and limitations. When someone acts out of anger, jealousy, or ignorance, it is rarely about you. It is a reflection of their own internal state. By adopting this perspective, you remove personal attachment to external provocations and prevent them from influencing your emotions. You develop a sense of detachment that is not cold but empowered, a clarity that enables you to respond wisely rather than react impulsively. An untouchable mindset also requires emotional regulation. Emotions are powerful tools, but when uncontrolled, they can dominate your behavior and cloud your judgment. Learning to manage emotions without suppressing them is key. Recognize what you are feeling, accept it, and then choose how to act on it. Anger, frustration, and irritation can be signals, but they do not have to dictate your behavior. By practicing emotional regulation consistently, you prevent negative emotions from dictating your reactions and preserve your energy, focus, and peace of mind. Another component is setting mental boundaries. Just as physical boundaries protect your body, mental boundaries protect your mind. Decide what thoughts, opinions, and influences you will allow into your mental space. Limit exposure to negativity, gossip, or toxic interactions that drain your focus. Surround yourself with ideas, people, and environments that reinforce clarity, resilience, and positivity. These mental boundaries are a crucial aspect of an untouchable mindset because they create a controlled environment where your focus and energy remain intact, even when external pressures increase. Visualization is also a powerful tool in cultivating this mindset. Imagine yourself walking through life like a fortress, unaffected by the storms of criticism, provocation, or chaos around you. Picture yourself remaining calm, composed, and strategic in the face of adversity. Rehearse these scenarios in your mind regularly. Visualization strengthens the neural pathways associated with calmness and deliberate action, and over time, it becomes second nature. Your mental rehearsal trains you to remain unbothered even in situations that would have previously triggered strong emotional reactions. Finally, an untouchable mindset is reinforced by commitment to personal growth and purpose. When your energy, focus, and actions are aligned with your values and long-term goals, external distractions lose their significance. The opinions of others, minor irritations, and provocations pale in comparison to your higher priorities. You begin to move through life with a sense of clarity, determination, and inner authority that is palpable. People may test you, circumstances may challenge you, but when your mindset is untouchable, you navigate every situation with confidence, poise, and strategic composure.